Hi, my name is Emma. My project is called Strength in Cheer. So that's kind of just the agenda for tonight. So how I came up with the idea. So I started with just like not really knowing what I wanted to do. And then during cheer, we had like long breaks in the season. So in the summertime, we had all of July off, and then we started back in August, like with 3 to 4 hour practices every single day. So it was just kind of like a lot, just coming back from nothing at all to like just being thrown into it. And then during the winter, sometimes we have 2 weeks off, or sometimes we have longer. And then in between basketball season and tryout season, we have about a month or two off. So I knew that like I didn't really know what to do during that time because it was always just hard to come back after a long break. And I wanted to make sure that I stayed like active during that time, but I wasn't quite sure what to do. We had like our traditional stretches that we do and our jumps and our kicks and stuff that I knew that I could do those. But other than that, I just wasn't quite certain. And then I kind of narrowed it down to just wanting a workout plan that was like specifically for cheerleaders, because we do like different motions and use different muscles than basketball players or football players. So I felt like it was essential to just have workouts that are specifically for cheerleaders. So the first part of my project was to kind of just figure out what motions we use the most. So I looked at videos of us doing stunts and cheers. Like this video, we have just videos of us doing cheers, and I looked at it and I saw that there's like a lot of high V's or like a touchdown motion, or when they're stunting, they press up during the stunt. And so I just made sure to look at a lot of these videos, and on the screen I came up with the most common things that we do. And then my next part was, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to present yet, so I made these little people, which kind of just show like the different motions and stuff, which kind of just helped me remember what the movement was and like how the arms are moving. And then the second part of my project was to figure out what muscles are being used in these motions. So I thought about the anatomical movement. So if the arm was doing flexion or abduction, so when cheerleaders are doing the high V motion, which is pictured here, they're like abducting their shoulders, so it's being raised away from their body. And then I used the knowledge of the anatomical movement to help figure out kind of what muscles were being used. So a high V traditionally uses the deltoid muscles and the supraspinatus. And then I made a list of each one of these, kind of just showing what motion I wanted to focus on, and then if it was they were doing flexion and what the body part was doing, like what part was doing the movement. So then it would help me come up with different exercises. And then step 3 was just kind of creating the different workouts that work these muscles. So I put together like videos that kind of help demonstrate what each one is. So for the squatting motion that we use during cheers or stunting, I came up with dumbbell squats, and then just the exercises help provide an example of the movement and kind of how they relate to the motion. And then I put it all together and I created these videos that kind of show the muscle movement doing them, and then they show me doing them, and then of a workout that kind of corresponds with it. So like for the high V, it shows the muscle doing it, and then I'm doing it. And then you'll see in the high V that I did lateral raises to kind of help show the relatedness between the muscles and the motion. And I felt like these videos kind of help just demonstrate a lot of movement and just the relationships between the motions and the exercises. And I also felt like these would be a good demonstration for if someone asks why this exercise, like why we're doing this exercise. So it kind of just shows like that it's working these muscles. And then it also just in general shows cheerleaders that they can use different exercises can be used to help impact the motions that they do. And then finally, I had my workout schedule that I created. So I started, I first talked to Mr. Kohler, the weightlifting coach, and I also take weightlifting class, so I kind of use that as well. And his advice was to do a 3-day split, so make sure that I had I did legs 2 days and then arms 1 day in between those two. So on Monday, I made a lower body workout, and I made sure to add plyometrics like jump squats and depth jumps, and then also just other exercises that work those muscles. And I made sure to add like the ones that are like the harder exercises first, because you're going to be using most of your energy at the beginning of the workout and you don't want to be doing the hard ones at the end. And then I made sure to add a rest day on Tuesday, but making sure that it was still an active one. So you're stretching or walking and just making sure that you at least get a little bit of movement in. And then on Wednesday, I did my upper body, and I added some more plyometrics, and then I did the same thing with doing the harder exercises first. And then on Thursday, I did more of like a core workout, just because core is very important in cheer, especially for flyers, because that's kind of what keeps them stable up in the air. But it's also essential for back spots and bases, because you can get hurt while you're stunting if you're overarching your back, and so just having a strong core just kind of keeps you stable. And then on Friday, I just repeated the lower body workout, and then Saturday and Sunday were just rest days. But I also made sure to add like stretches, warm-ups, and cool-downs, so then they don't get hurt, because it's important to warm up your muscles and make sure that they're all stretched out, and then it's also important to make sure that you're cooled down before you just go lay in bed or something. And then something that was really important to me with these exercises is that most of them can be done without a gym, because something that I struggled a lot with when we had breaks was that I didn't know, I didn't have a gym to go to 24/7. And so it kind of just left me lost, and I didn't really have equipment that I could use either. So I wanted to make sure that most of these exercises could be done with a barbell, dumbbells, water bottles, or just body weight. So most of these can be done with just at-home equipment. And even like the medicine ball slams, if you don't have a medicine ball, you can always just go outside and use a basketball and just get the feel of using your arms and the explosiveness of that. And then I never really thought about plyometrics in cheer, so the depth jumps and everything like that. But I've seen videos on Instagram of football players and basketball players doing them just to make them faster, be able to jump higher. But I just never really thought about it until I started doing more research, and I realized just how important it is to practice that sort of stuff. Because when we're jumping, we're trying to get our legs up as high as we can, and we're also trying to make it look good too. And then in this video, you can see us trying to use as much power as we can to toss our flyer as high as we can. So when we do the baskets and the tosses, it's important that we have a lot of power, but are very controlled, so we can throw her up high. But then it's also just important overall for power, when you're stunting or doing pyramids, because you can't always just rely on other people to do the job for you, or else a stunt could definitely go wrong. So it's just important to know how to use that power and to make sure that you're doing it safely, but also making sure that you're using all of it and not just wasting it. And then some of the challenges that I faced was it was kind of hard to figure out the different muscles, because the body has so many muscles, and just pinpointing how each muscle contributes to an action is sometimes hard. It was also just hard to choose what motions to use in general, because we do so many. So I kind of just try to pick out the fundamentals, because most of our motions have some sort of relatedness back to the ones that I picked out. So I just try to do that. And then it was kind of hard to design the workout, which I still believe could be a work in progress, and that there could be tweaks depending on different things, like equipment or space, but I still try to make it as inclusive as I could. And then it was kind of hard to figure out how to present because I felt like I had a lot of information that I wanted to share, but I just didn't know how to do it. And I didn't want to sound really boring or just I'm not providing enough details. So it was just kind of hard to figure that out. Mr. Lazel, he couldn't be here today. I believe he's announcing the softball game right now. But he was my mentor, and he kind of helped me talk through the process of how I wanted to go about the project, and he helped me come up with a step-by-step process. He also made sure that the muscles that I found were correct, and he also gave me many resources that helped to benefit my project as well. Like the muscles that you see on the skeleton, I would not have found that if he didn't give me the resources for that. And then in conclusion, I learned many things throughout this project. I learned that the importance of power and how to go about developing more of it. I also learned how much exercises can mimic the motions that are used in cheer. And it also made me realize that without practice and workouts, I would not be able to do anything that's pictured on the screen. We learn and gain muscles and power and practice through stunting and going through a motion drill, jumps and kicks 1,000 times. But I also realized just how important it is during long breaks to make sure that you stay active and doing workouts that are more specific to your sport, or else even though you might be working out, it might just not be helping you because you need more specific workouts. And then I know I don't really plan to share this with the cheer team just yet because I feel like the workout plan could probably use a little bit more like work to it, and just making sure that it's good and that it'll be like accurate for cheerleading. And I also do plan eventually on sharing it on the internet because when I was trying to find workouts for cheer to do, I was always looking online, and so I want other people to be able to find these workouts as well. And then those are the sources I used. And then I just want to thank Mr. Lazel for guiding me through this project and helping me to hit each step in my project. He was very helpful in making sure that I got things done and just providing me resources and listening to how I wanted to do things. And then I also want to thank Mrs. Erdos for allowing me the opportunity to do this project and just dive deeper into this subject. And I also want to just thank my coaches and my team for giving me this experience, which led me to this idea. And that is all.
I'm just curious if you could clarify what the smush move is.
So it's kind of like, I can kind of show it. It's like when you're kind of squatting and like when you're stunting, the flyer jumps into your hands and you're kind of holding them in your hands like this. So you're holding them around your waist and you're just trying to like keep them up. And it's very important to do a proper smush. It's something that we drill a lot throughout the beginning of the season because without a proper like smush, then the rest of the stunt won't go very well.
So you're kind of like absorbing some of that momentum?
Yes.
Okay, great.
How much of your practice time when full cheer group is together is devoted to strength, fitness, conditioning?
Honestly, it's not a ton. I mean, we do our stunts and we do like our warm-ups with our jumps and kicks, but other than that, we don't get in the weight room. I think it's just because there's just a lot of other sports that also benefit from the weight room, so it's just harder for us to do that.
Did you have any of those type of conversations with Mr. Kohler as you were going through your studies?
I have not yet, no.
Emma, how and when did you become interested in cheer?
Well, I was interested around 7th grade, well, before that, but I could try out 7th grade. But COVID hit, and then we also didn't have a cheer coach, so I wasn't able to try out. And then I didn't know about tryouts freshman year, so I didn't do it. But then I found out like what time they were, and so I tried out for my sophomore year, and I made the team, which was kind of surprising to me, because like, I've never done it before. And then after that, I just kind of fell in love with it. It made me more confident, and I feel like it just helped me become the person I am today. Okay, thank you.